PSLV has been in news like anything, huh? Almost a year, it has been doing something or the other. So, like we can see some last 3-4 launches. I will be starting with 35, C35, then C36, C37. Okay, and obviously in the end, later on, we'll be discussing C34. Okay, so like C stands for what? Commercial. Okay, that's the meaning of C over here. And as you know, just a brief part of it, that PSLV is a 4-stage vehicle. It is having 4 stages: solid, liquid, plus 6 boosters. Boosters, not cryogenic. Cryogenic is not PSLV. Can I switch off? No issue. That is the case. PSLV, you know, originally was developed for placing only remote sensing satellites. And remote sensing satellites are placed in polar orbit. Polar orbit, that means from North Pole to South Pole and South Pole to North Pole. These satellites are also known as Earth observation satellite. Okay, that's I'm not interested in discussing that. C35. C35 was carrying 8 satellites. Okay. And one of them was a remote sensing, or rather all were remote sensing satellite, and one of them was SCAT-SAT-1. SCAT-SAT is a remote sensing satellite of ISRO. Just listen, need to understand. Okay. Later on, I'll do my favorite job. Dictation. SCAT-SAT-1 is a remote sensing satellite. Okay, what exactly is SCAT-SAT-1? Is it something new? Is it something continuation of the previous program of ISRO? That's what we need to know. It is not something new. It is a continuation of the previous program of ISRO. That is what we call as OceanSat. Besides this, there were other satellites as well, like Pratham. Okay, and obviously it is one Pratham of IIT Bombay. And obviously, what is the USP of Pratham? Obviously, it is the first nano satellite of India. Okay, and then there was a PISAT, obviously of an engineering institute in Bangalore, that is PIE. That is what the PISAT was all about. Besides that, there were satellites of Algeria, 3 satellites of Algeria. So 3 plus 2 plus 3. Obviously, you can say 7. And obviously, one was from US, that is Black Sky Pathfinder. But that's what not I am interested in discussing. What is the USP of PSLV C35? What was new that happened when PSLV C35 completed its mission? If there will be a question, it is because of only this. This is the first instance when PSLV placed satellites in 2 different orbits in a single flight. 2 different orbits. Both were polar orbits. So imagine one was polar, other was Jewish. Both were polar. And obviously, why you will say, sir, what's the big deal in placing 2 satellites in 2 orbits in a single flight? Obviously, for that, you need to switch on and off the engine multiple times. Okay, and that's where the challenge lies in this particular case. Now listen here, what exactly happened over there? First, PSLV took off. Okay, you know there is first stage. Then you know that PSLV is an expendable launch vehicle. Expendable means can be used only once. Okay, so first stage, when the fuel was exhausted, separated, gone. Second stage, fuel exhausted, separated, gone. Third stage, fuel exhausted, separated, gone. Then left what? 4th stage. And 4th stage was having all the satellites on it, because satellites should not be separated and gone. Like this. Then it reached obviously where? South Pole. Okay. Over South Pole at a height of around 720 kilometers, first this satellite separated. Okay. 7 other were attached to this 4th stage of the PSLV. Then obviously, if you can imagine, then it made around like this entire vehicle. Means covered over, obviously moved over the South Pole and moved up to North Pole. Over North Pole, obviously when it was moving downwards over South Pole, this fourth stage was switched off. Okay, that I've discussed with you when I was discussing types of fuels, that liquid fuels facilitates multiple switching on and off. And that's not a coincidence that the last stage is a liquid stage. Had it been solid one, this would not have happened. Okay, fine. Then obviously from North Pole, it was again, obviously this time they reduced the height of the orbit, and somewhere around 670, all the 7 satellites were pushed in one go. So these were 2 satellites orbits. One was at a higher orbit, second was at a lower orbit. Okay, and obviously this was C35. Is this okay? This is how it happened. Then came C36. C36, it has placed a satellite known as Resource Set 2A. Resource Set 2A, obviously natural resource management. That's the only job of it. Nothing special about it. Then came obviously probably a very, very big day in the Indian space history, the launch of Pslv C37. And in this case, they placed how many satellites? 104 satellites. One of them was Cartosat 2D. Okay, and it's the 5th satellite in this particular series. Cartosat 2D will have a lot of applications like networking, mapping, land information system, geographical information system. And at the same time, this Cartosat 2D will allow India to peek, to see into the, obviously, China as well as Pakistan. So obviously it's going to be an intelligence gathering satellite as well. But okay, fine. Besides that, there were 88 Dove satellites of an American company. Okay, but these Dove satellites, they are also known as Flock 3P. Okay, and actually these 88 satellites of Dove, which are Dove satellites, are remote sensing satellites, and obviously their total number is 100. So obviously 88 satellites were launched by Pslv C37. How much is left? Obviously people are really good in CSAT. 12 were left. No, 12 were not left. 12 were already launched by Pslv C34. And if you can recall, Pslv C34 has placed 20 satellites. So 12 of them were this. So this is how their system got completed. Okay. Then comes the other satellites. Obviously, besides this, like say for example, they're asking such questions nowadays. Pslv C37 placed 104 satellites. Besides ISRO, the other satellites were off. So obviously there was a satellite of Israel, BGU set. There was a satellite of Kazakhstan. There was a satellite of UAE. Most of the people will not take this as the option. Okay, UAE. And there were other satellites as well from Netherlands, Holland, and obviously there was one more satellite from one American company, that is Spire Bird. These all were launched by using Pslv C37. So obviously this was 35, 36, 37. This happened. Okay.